Walk into any traditional physical casino, and the geography is remarkably honest. The windowless rooms, maze-like corridors, and hypnotic patterned carpets are intentionally disorienting. They don't hide what they are. You know immediately that you're inside a machine built to take your money. Compare that to a smartphone screen today. A green crown logo, a lineup of football players, and a tiny account balance tucked in the corner. This architecture is entirely invisible. The digital betting platform hides its machinery behind a seamless, gamified interface. DraftKings scaled to a $6 billion valuation by perfecting this digital experience. Beneath the surface of the app, the platform functions as an engine for algorithmic extraction, using code to monitor and monetize user behavior in real time. This chart shows the distribution of winnings on a major daily fantasy app in the first half of 2015. A tiny sliver, just 1.3% of players, walked away with 91% of all the prize money. While recreational users believed they were competing against casual fans, they were actually being harvested by professionals, armed with statistical models and automated lineup generators. To understand how this massive wealth transfer happens legally, we have to look past the user interface and X-ray the code running beneath it. The survival of this entire industry relies on classification arbitrage. This is the act of constantly rebranding the same underlying economic activity, wagering money on an uncertain outcome, under different legal labels to evade the constraints of gambling laws. This strategy began with a 2006 federal law called the UIGEA, the Unlawful Internet Gambling Enforcement Act. When Congress drafted the ban on online poker, they explicitly carved out fantasy sports, classifying them as games of skill, like a spelling bee or a chess tournament. By compressing a months-long fantasy season into a single day, a startup in a spare bedroom realized they could exploit that exact legal blind spot. Operating strictly by the book within this loophole earned the company immense institutional credibility. In 2013, Major League Baseball made a strategic equity investment in the platform, signaling that the game of skill narrative had been fully accepted by the sporting establishment. This early growth relied on a legal strategy that allowed a nationwide casino to operate under the name of fantasy sports. The illusion of a simple skill-based game shattered in 2015 when a mid-level employee used proprietary, non-public data to win $350,000 on a rival platform. This incident proved the platform's actual business was the harvesting of a massive database mapping user risk tolerance and behavioral tells. This AI system tracks a high level of digital residue. It records login timestamps, the exact paths of your clicks, how long you hover over a specific button, and any attempts to modify your deposit limits. Every isolated interaction aggregates into a highly specific psychological profile. The company's models cross-reference this data with biological research. Take the case of a user designated as classification 47291A, Sarah. The algorithm learned that for people in financial distress, decision-making capacity degrades and cortisol levels peak late at night. The machine learning model weaponized this biological vulnerability. After running over 800 A/B tests, it delivered a precise 47-character push notification, paired with a $50 deposit match. It targeted Sarah at the exact moment she was mathematically most likely to deposit, 11:47 p.m. The platform argues that this system is simply the natural endpoint of standard e-commerce optimization, identical to the algorithms Amazon uses to suggest products or Netflix uses to keep you watching. But this comparison ignores the consequences of the optimization. When a streaming service captures your attention, you lose a few hours of sleep. When a betting platform captures your liquidity, you can lose your mortgage payment. This invisible architecture optimizes for the extraction of capital from users when they are most vulnerable. This reliance on heavy spenders is known as the whale dynamic. Ever since the Stardust opened in Las Vegas in 1962, gambling revenue has relied on extracting capital from a tiny, concentrated fraction of patrons. Today, just 3.8% of users generate roughly 42% of this platform's revenue. The digital version of this model uses human account managers, whose bonuses are tied directly to revenue retention. When a user shows clear signs of distress, like frantically chasing losses or trying to navigate to the self-exclusion page, these hosts are trained to intervene. They offer thousands of dollars in bonus credits to keep the user in the ecosystem, actively overriding responsible gaming signals. Now, the company is executing its most ambitious reclassification yet. By acquiring a prediction market, they are rebranding sports wagers as event contracts. Under the jurisdiction of the CFTC, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, they function as a neutral exchange. They take a broker fee on transactions, eliminating their own risk while bypassing state gambling commissions. This regulatory evasion follows a pattern set in the 1890s. At the time, illegal bucket shops on Wall Street allowed people to place side bets on stock prices. To avoid police raids, they didn't call these bets wagers, they called them privileges. Calling a parlay a financial derivative is a similar semantic trick. By labeling the final score of a football game as a macroeconomic commodity, the platform bypasses consumer protections and avoids state gambling taxes that can reach 51%. The engineering required to orchestrate this system is significant. Building a single wallet that seamlessly connects fantasy sports, casino games, and financial derivatives through real-time machine learning is a staggering technical achievement. But the user experience remains the same regardless of the legal definition on a tax form. Tapping a button on a smartphone screen triggers the same dopamine release and carries the same risk of financial devastation. The invisible architecture is a perfectly tuned machine. Whether the law calls it a game, a bet, or a derivative, the math is absolute. The system is designed to ensure the wealth flows from the public directly to the house.